You're listening to the Natural Mother Podcast. I'm Jessika, founder of naturalmothernetwork.com.
And I'm Candace, a birth and postpartum doula. We're sisters and moms who believe all mothers deserve a doula's support beyond just pregnancy and birth.
Consider us your go-to source for information, encouragement, and community. We are going to just do a quick episode about seasonal allergies, the symptoms, treatment, prevention, and testing. We've seen an uptick in talk about seasonal allergies in our forum and on Facebook in the past few days. And luckily that was the indication that you guys needed this episode. What about you, Cand? Do you have seasonal allergies?
Some years I do and some years I don't. So maybe that's something you should know, is that it can come and go. I also read a thing about it yesterday that said it typically develops by the time children are 10 years old, and then peaks in the teenager years or around 20 years old, and then can go away by the time you're an adult. So that's the typical age range where... I know, right? It's kind of interesting.
That's fascinating, because I remember in my early 20s, which was, decades ago now, that there were a few years in a row, like 2 or 3 years in a row, where there was a good week or two
where it was bad,
where I couldn't even take my sunglasses off in public because my eyes were so watery and so itchy and so swollen, and just, it was super miserable. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. But, yeah. And then all of a sudden, no more allergies.
Yeah.
I don't have any seasonal allergies that I am aware of, though my kids definitely have a couple. So let's talk about that then. Let's talk about some of the symptoms of seasonal allergies, though I find that it's kind of common sense. You either know you have them or you don't. And if you do get them, you know damn well what you're experiencing. So some of those symptoms are
congestion, post-nasal drip, our very favorite. That one, we love it. Just kidding.
Which also leads to scratchy throat.
Yeah, to sore throat. That's also on here, I think. Excess mucus production, sneezing, runny nose, itchy, watery eyes, all the really annoying face issues, facial zone issues. I remember wanting to you're like, I feel fine. My body feels fine from the neck down, but from the head, face, you want to take it off and get a new one.
The only time you ever wish for decapitation, is seasonal allergies for sure. But also a decrease in concentration and focus, and insomnia can be symptoms of,
Well, it's hard to focus when your eyes are itching and your throat is itching and you're sneezing and you got snot running down your face. You can't focus.
You're trying to devise how to decapitate yourself and live through it.
I can't concentrate when my thoughts are on decapitation, okay?
But then it's really hard for people with asthma, but also can induce asthma. And then hives, eczema, ear infections.
It's interesting.
Well, ear infections would come from the increase in mucus production, I feel like.
Inflammation.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
do have to give you a disclaimer here that we are not medical doctors, and you should not treat us as such unless you want to send money.
So all the things we're going to tell you are things for you to talk to your doctor about.
Yes. Do not treat us like we know what we're talking about. Okay, so there are some common ways or tests that doctors can do to help you narrow down exactly what it is that you're allergic to, if you're interested. Though the treatments and prevention strategies are the same whether you know what exactly it is that's causing it or not. So if you have great insurance and you want to find out whether it's grass or ragweed, so that you can watch the pollen counts and know exactly what's going up, then
do that.
Yeah.
But obviously it's pretty obvious. If in the springtime you have itchy, watery eyes and a stuffy nose and you sneeze a lot, then you know you have seasonal allergies. So as long as it's not severe enough that you have to know exactly what it is so you can avoid it better.
Well, and here's another thing, process of elimination. You feel like shit for a few days with sneezing and watery eyes and all the good stuff, and look at the pollen counts in your area, and whatever comes out high is probably your issue, and it'll save you a copay.
There you go.
Unless your allergies are so severe that they're causing breathing issues and things like that, then you probably can just get away with looking at the pollen count and figuring it out, or the plants in your area. It's another.
That too.
It's a good indicator. We have ragweed everywhere where I live. It grows in abundance all over the yard, all over the mountains here. And luckily that one is not one that really bugs my family, but it's the cottonwood trees.
The cottonwood trees are a pain. But that one's obvious because you can see the white fluffy stuff floating around in the air on the days that your face is itching. You're like, I know what the problem is. It's not hard to figure out.
It's good to note also that dry, windy days are going to be worse for people with seasonal allergies than rainy or humid days. So if you do find yourself struggling with these very snotty issues,
hang out right by the HEPA filter in your house when it's dry outside. Just sit right next to it. No. So testing. Are we going to talk about testing?
Yes, go ahead and talk about testing while I look up what time of day.
So if you've gone outside and you have an itchy face, you know you have seasonal allergies. If you need to find out exactly what it is, if the allergies are severe enough that you need to know, the doctors can do a prick test or a scratch test where they put a lot of different things that you might potentially be allergic to on your back, and then they scratch them. And if you're allergic to it, your skin will react and like swell or turn red. That's one way to find out. And another one is a blood test for IgE, immunoglobulin E. Measures the level of IgE in the system, normally found in small amounts, but if it's higher, it can be telling what the problem is.
Pollen counts are highest between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. in the morning, so you'll want to plan your outdoor activities
later,
like around lunchtime, because they rise again around dusk.
Oh, wow.
So you're just kind of screwed. Just stay home inside.
Next to the HEPA filter.
Next to the HEPA filter with all your windows and doors shut.
Sounds kind of miserable.
Or you can do, also Candace's form of testing is you sneeze, you have seasonal allergies. Pretty simple. Going back to the testing levels.
There you go.
But you covered the IgE tests and the scratch tests. So let's talk about prevention. And this is one of the things I see mentioned most often in the holistic realm, is that local raw honey can be used as a treatment for, but it's actually a prevention for seasonal allergies. And the way that it works is that you get local raw honey from bees that have used pollen in your specific area, and you're supposed to be taking a tablespoon a day, every single day, for months in advance of allergy season in order to build a tolerance to local pollen. So if you wait until you have allergies to start taking the local raw honey, you're out of time. You're out of time. And it's not going to hurt anything. Maybe it'll help a little tiny bit, but it's actually meant for prevention of allergies and not for treatment of allergies. Yeah. So that's important. And like we already said, it's important to track the pollen count in your area.
But also, if you have allergies and you watch the pollen count and you see that cottonwood trees are going up today, then, you can use that to guide your plans and activities. So another easy thing you can do to make a small impact on your level of allergy symptoms is to run your AC unit during the day, and that's because it has a filter in it, so it will help air inside your home have less pollen in it. Also keeping the windows closed, and I read some things that said to keep them closed at night. Even though it's nice in the summer to have some fresh air, don't be tempted. If someone in the family has...
Definitely HEPA filters in your furnace and your air conditioning and your vacuum, all of those kinds of things. And you keep them clean. You got to keep them clean, and you have to change them out or clean them out at least every month, if not maybe even twice a week if you have really bad allergies. So make sure that your air systems are clean. And I would make sure that your air filter in your engine in your car is also clean, because driving around, especially with wind and whatnot, that's going to get all plugged up with all the pollens that are out and about. So
you could also turn your car to like the recirculating air mode, so you're using the inside the car air.
I think it'll still go through the filter.
I bet it will a little bit, but I bet it would minimize it a little bit too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
When you come in from outside, say you went for a hike, you're at the park, whatever the outdoor activity was, you're going to want to come home and change out of those clothes at the very least and wash your hands and face.
Or take a shower.
Showering would be better, because I can't imagine how much pollen gets collected in your hair, especially if you have long hair.
And I can even think how it would be helpful if, like, your kid has allergies, that you also change your clothes when you come home, because the pollen's also going to be on you, and then all day you're interacting with your kid. So even depending on how severe maybe the symptoms are in your family, but maybe everyone can help minimize the pollen in the house.
Absolutely. And in that respect, leave your shoes at the front door. Don't bring your shoes inside. They collect, pollen. A lot more than pollen while you're out and about.
Chewed up gum, dog poo, you know, all the things that your shoes
diff.
collect.
C. diff for those in the medical field.
Definitely don't lick your shoes.
You don't want to bring the C. diff home
kidding.
to your...
So another thing you can do inside your home is change your pillowcases often. Keep those clean, because pollen that is in the air in your home is going to settle onto those. And that will help minimize symptoms. They're right up in your face where you don't want it.
Keep your stuff clean, friends.
Keep your house clean, people.
For those of you who have dogs and cats that go in and out of the house to use the bathroom or go for walks, whatnot, when they come back inside, get a washcloth or hand towel wet and squeeze out the excess water and wipe your dogs and cats down. Just give them a quick rub down. Yeah. To take the extra pollen on their fur off. I've actually read that people who have indoor-outdoor animals who think they're allergic to the animals are actually only allergic to the pollens on the fur of the animals that they bring back inside from the yard.
Yeah.
So don't forget to give them a little love when they come inside. Let's see.
Another thing we have on our list is don't touch your face. And what I notice I have a daughter with some allergies that are quite pronounced. But when she
they're not just pronounced,
but not seasonal necessarily, because they're more to animals. But when she starts just anything, like my eyes feel itchy or any one little symptom, I have one little hive on my arm or something. If we catch it fast and she just runs and washes with soap and water and puts cold water on her eyes if her eyes are itching, that can fix it completely. Often.
Yeah.
So if we catch it fast enough and then do that quick enough, and then she's not still touching the pet or whatever it is, that can help a lot. So don't touch your face was on our list. Like if your symptoms are starting and your eyes are starting to itch or you're starting to notice something, the worst thing you can do is rub your eyes. It makes it so much worse. So don't touch your eyes and wash your hands at the first sign of any symptom.
That's intriguing to me, because what I wonder is, what is it about, regardless if you have pollen and things on your hands and you rub your eyes and your face, what is it about the rubbing
that makes it worse?
And perhaps we should have looked this up before we made the podcast, but it's fascinating. Like, is the actual disruption of the cells or the pollen when you rub it?
Yeah.
Does that actually
make it worse?
Make your body release more histamines?
Well, I think if you rub it, you're increasing inflammation too, because so you're just irritating it. It's probably a combo of all the things,
right?
Introducing more pollen to the area and irritating the skin or mucous membranes or whatever you got going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can also wear a mask to reduce symptoms, but
because we all love wearing masks so much,
but
all day.
Most of us are doing it, I hope.
Yeah.
So that is a good way to reduce them getting into your mouth and nose, where they can cause the reaction and the inflammation. One last thing on our... Oh, wait, no, we have a couple of things. There's a homeopathic tincture called Allergena. And for the United States, at least, and I think they might even cover Canada, they have regional formulas. So if you're from the Southwest, it'll have all the plants and grasses and trees that are in the area, native to the area, in the tincture to help you build a tolerance, much like how taking local raw honey does. So you want to start it in advance of allergies coming on. So a couple of months in advance. Anyway, it's Allergena, Allergena. And I have used that in the past with much success. They also have children's formulas. Quercetin, maybe? It's a natural bioflavonoid that stabilizes mast cells to keep them from releasing histamines.
And Swiss chard has a lot of quercetin in it. So
plant the garden.
Up your leafy green intake and eat a lot of Swiss chard. I like it in smoothies even, and cooked and all the good things.
Yeah, soups,
everything.
Stews, salads.
One more note we have on prevention is to dry your clothes, your family's laundry in your clothes dryer. Do not line dry it, even if it's tempting when it's beautiful and sunny outside, because then your clothes are just going to collect pollen and cause problems.
They're not going to be clean when you put them on.
That will not help.
I love how clothes look on a clothesline in the yard, and I did it for
I love
years.
how they smell too.
They're a little crunchy, but
You could tumble dry them for a minute to soften them up.
you could.
But don't do it if you have allergies in your family. Seasonal allergies. Don't do it during that seasonal period when you're having issues.
Yeah, so now, right now, stop.
And you can start again later.
No more laundry for you. Make the neighbors do it.
Yeah, that's a really good excuse.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to treatments that you can use that are natural and just, nice and non-invasive.
Well, and it's worth saying, I think, that some of the treatment that we're going to talk about can also be used as prevention, just like some of the prevention things can be used as treatment, such as washing your hands. You can also do that when you're having symptoms acutely.
Yes, for sure.
There's some overlap.
So the first one that I think a lot of people are familiar with is Nettle Leaf. So like stinging nettle.
But don't go grab it with your bare hands and eat it or anything like that.
No, you can buy nettles at health food stores, probably even in the bulk section or from herbal,
even Amazon,
apothecaries online. Yep. I do know people who harvest it from themselves with very tall, long
leather gloves
and long sleeves.
But once it's dry and made into a tea, it's no longer irritating or poisonous, such as a stinging nettle.
Right.
While it's growing outside.
Once the plant has dried out and dehydrated, then you can handle it with bare hands.
So how does nettle leaf work there, Jess?
Well, it blocks your body's histamine production, much like quercetin.
Yes. It also has lots of other really good nutrients. It's good for everyone.
It's good for so many things. We were checking it out last night when we were doing a little research into this, and not that I can recall the other benefits of nettles, but I believe it's good for your kidneys and good for your
immune system.
Your immune system, but your
has vitamins.
Cardiovascular system. Mm-hmm. So nettles.
So
and it's good for hair growth, I've heard.
Oh, wow.
I believe Sydney, our cousin, once told me, if you want your hair to grow, drink nettle tea.
You can drink tea every single day of nettles, but I also read that you want to take the capsules, like more strong, more intense doses of nettles if you're having symptoms of allergies and are trying to fix that.
So maybe pre-allergy season, a cup of nettle tea a day
all the time
could never bother you, and would only help. And then
during allergy season.
And then during acute attacks of allergies, drink 3 or 4 cups a day if you'd like. There's also, we talked about this in our forum last night. It was either last night or this morning. I said to the women in our forum, hey, what works for you on seasonal allergies? What do you do that you find relief from? And there are stinging nettle tinctures that you can get, I'm sure, at your favorite health food store or online apothecaries. That would be a stronger version compared to tea. Tea would be like the mellow one. Capsules you can probably get at your health food store, or you can buy gel caps and put nettle in them. Mm-hmm. But we saw that recommended a lot in the forum. We also had a mom, Stacy, in the forum tell us that she gained a whole bunch of weight from a particular allergy medicine. She did not name the medication, but she said that she gained about 30 pounds in a year on the wrong type of allergy medicine from the doctor. Her allergy doctor did not know that the medicine could do this. She researched it herself and found out and changed medications and has lost about 25 pounds in 5 months. Wow. So, and that's obviously not a natural remedy like what we're talking about, but we absolutely understand allergies are complex and miserable, and many people need medications either over the counter or through the doctors. So that's a heads up on that. That's interesting. Euphoric Herbals also has a tea that was recommended by Katie in our forum, and it's a cold and flu brew tea. And she said that works really good for her allergies, and so it must have nettles, or
it's probably got like
marshmallow root
support and like anti-inflammatory stuff in it.
And she said she also adds a teaspoon of the most local, earliest raw honey she can find. And she uses a Neti Pot. And Neti Pot is on our list of treatments. Mm-hmm. We do recommend, though, that you boil and cool.
No need to singe your nose hairs off.
Boil the water that you're going to use to
Put in your nose.
douche your nose. I personally have, this is Jessica speaking, but I personally have not and don't see myself ever
Doing a neti pot?
using a neti pot.
I've never done it either.
You haven't?
No.
Oh, my husband has like 10 neti pots.
I don't want to put water up my nose.
No, I'm not into
a
it.
fan.
Actually, one time, and this is a really funny story. My family used to go to a bluegrass festival in the Tetons every summer back in the day, 10 years ago. We'd go every year. And one time there was this woman in our camp that did the neti pot every morning camping, like right in front of everybody.
Ew.
And I know that like a lot of people aren't grossed out by that. And her personality was a little in your face also, so it was a little bit difficult. But every morning she'd be there standing, having a conversation while everyone's having coffee.
Ew.
And like doing the neti pot in front of everybody and just letting it drip all over the ground where everyone's walking. I understand that's probably not offensive to some people and they're laughing at us right now.
Neti pot etiquette.
But I'm sorry, it was gross.
Neti pot etiquette.
So do the neti pot etiquette in your privacy area.
That's
it's like
really ew.
those are your private affairs, please.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was
Not
so
awesome.
gross. It was such a turn off.
So gross. So if you're not into full on rinsing your schnoz with the neti pot, you could just do saline spray. That is much less offensive and intense, and you can just squirt it up your nose and the thing sprays in a nice
Yeah, and there's something
thing.
about saline sprays with xylitol.
Yeah,
What was that?
They just work really good. They help to make things so they can't stick inside your nose, and so it rinses out, but also
The xylitol does.
yeah,
Yeah.
but also keeps things from bothering you. It's really great stuff. So that there's a brand called, I can't even say it, Xlear. It's like the word clear, but with an X instead of a C. You can probably
Clear.
find that just everywhere, like at any pharmacy or grocery store or whatever.
I think I have the pronunciation down.
It works really good.
It's clear.
Yeah.
It's clear.
I even heard they did a study with that with coronavirus, and it makes the coronavirus not stick inside your nose.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's good
fantastic.
for all the things.
We will track that down and put the link
for
to
you.
that product in our show notes. We'll try to find the company's link directly, and if not, I'm sure that we can find it on Amazon, which is our second to last choice.
Yeah, but everything's on Amazon, so
That's true.
Okay.
Then probiotics
probiotics.
for healthy gut, because everything starts in the gut. The health of your entire immune system, which allergies
your
are a
entire
part
body.
of,
Yeah.
is tied to the health of your gut. So add in a quality probiotic during allergy season if you don't already take one. Use bone broth if
Yeah.
you eat animal products. There's a lot of things you can do for the health of your gut. Avoid or decrease sugar
And dairy.
and dairy. Dairy and sugar will both decrease the amount of mucus in your body.
And the amount of inflammation.
Yes, well, and then fruits and veggies. Up the fruits and veggies. Eat them all.
So for any health problem you can come across.
That goes for everything.
More veggies, more probiotics, less dairy, less sugar.
More fruit.
More fruit. Maybe whole grains, but not processed grains. Yeah, we could do that for every single thing. But
We're going to take a quick break from today's episode to tell you about Oak Meadow. Every parent wants their child to be inspired at school, but traditional and public school is not for everyone. If we've learned anything over the past year with this pandemic, it's that parents need more options. Since 1975, Oak Meadow has provided flexible, progressive education for independent learners. Today, Oak Meadow's curriculum is used by thousands of families all over the world. A comprehensive curriculum for every learner, kindergarten through 12th grade, learn independently or enroll in Oak Meadow's accredited distance learning school. If school is a struggle, Oak Meadow can help. Find everything that you need to know about their teachers, curriculum, and distance learning programs at oakmeadow.com. Now back to the show. In looking into this, I also came across information that said to supplement vitamin D if you don't already. You're years behind. But
true.
It's always good to know what your level is so you know how much to supplement, but it's safe to say that an adult can take 5,000 IUs per day,
Yeah.
every single day, no matter what your level is or is
And
not.
without testing it.
And it will
Yeah.
be safe. So
I've actually been told to take way more than that, so I'm not gonna
By actual
out my
doctors.
number, but by an actual doctor. I was tested and
Yes. And
guaranteed to have low vitamin D, and then was told to supplement with way higher than that.
Yes, and
So-
I had my naturopath told me to take, I think it was 10,000 IUs a day, safely without knowing. So
Yeah.
5,000 is a safe number. 5,000 IUs, international units of vitamin D a day. We also, I can't recall the kid doses, but if you go back and listen to the episode.
It's for sure 1,000 a day though for kids. It's for sure 1,000 a day, because even with a 1-year-old baby, I've been told that by a doctor. So
We recorded an episode with Dr. Vandenberg, who's a pediatrician out of Salt Lake City, and he is incredibly natural minded, though he's a traditional pediatrician. And in that episode, we talk all about
supplements for kids.
It's episode 22. We published it in July last year. We were talking about supplementation and COVID-19. And the supplementation was not specific to COVID-19. It was just what you want to do daily,
For immune
period.
health. Yeah.
And we went through every age group and talked about the supplements you should take every day and the amounts when you're healthy, and then the amounts when you're sick. And so if you want to know how much vitamin D to give your kids based on their age, go back and listen to episode 22 with Dr. Jed Vandenberg that we recorded earlier. Mm-hmm. It was actually a very helpful
Episode.
We refer to it often, or they'll
the runs.
poop a lot.
So if
Proceed
someone
with
is
caution.
struggling with constipation though, then there you go.
Yeah.
Know that might help you.
Proceed with caution. Start with the recommended dosage on whatever brand or type that you are using. If it makes you poop, then
Back off a little.
bit.
Or take it every other day or
Decrease your dose, yeah.
Yeah.
But, anything to stabilize mast cells. I've seen a lot of talk in our forum lately about mast cell disorders. It's something I'm not super familiar with, but I'm really intrigued. Yeah, something I need to look more into.
So another thing you can try is apple cider vinegar. It reduces mucus production and cleanses the lymphatic system. We saw recommendations of taking 1 teaspoon in a glass of water 1 to 3 times a day. I've heard this for lots of other conditions as well. So it must just help, an overall body support.
Oh, it reduces inflammation. We know that.
Yeah. And mucus production. Yeah. So try some apple cider vinegar.
Make sure you dilute it. I'm sure Candace already just said that.
1 teaspoon in a glass of water.
Mm-hmm. You do not want to take shots of ACV. It can do damage to your esophagus.
It's
friends.
strong stuff.
Don't do it.
But also make sure when you buy your apple cider vinegar that you buy the one that has a mother in it, so it has like a blob floating around in the bottle.
It's an allergy booger.
Yeah.
Get the ACV with the allergy phlegm in the bottom of the bottle.
That's really appetizing. That's really, really appetizing.
Well, they all know.
Yeah, it's like a kombucha snot. It's like yeah.
It's a
It's
logie.
a thing.
It's an ACV
You don't have
logie.
to. You don't have to swallow that thing like an oyster. You don't have to do it, but you
can
want the vinegar around it.
Yes, but you can, and you can also
could.
shake it
Or
up.
put it in a blender or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We put ACV in our chicken water.
Oh yeah.
For our
I've
chickens.
done that too.
It's good.
Not
for
all
them.
the time, but when I
I
have
do.
babies, yeah.
I do all the time. Okay, so butter burr. It's
Butter
a well-researched plant that has some very promising studies that it has an extract in it called ZE339 that also works as well as an antihistamine medication. So, track down some butter burr. Call your favorite local apothecary and see if you can get your hands on some.
Yeah.
Because that's cool.
So another thing you can try is a tincture called Allergy. And it is an herbal tincture, so it's got nettles and a bunch of these other herbs in it. Maybe
marshmallow root,
burr,
I think.
But I'm not sure. The website where you want to buy that is InJoyNow, INJOYNOW.com.
It's like being in joy, not enjoy.
No.
We're not enjoying
We're not
our
enjoying.
allergies.
We are in the joy.
In the joy.
Like, seriously in it.
InJoyNow.com.
But that has been recommended to us and has all the ingredients of a lot of these other things that we're mentioning, and it works really well. I've taken a capsule version that's very similar. It was called Sneezanal Defense. sneeze-a-nol. But I honestly thought that more with the herbs, you had to take them, ahead of time for a month or two and take them every single day for them to work. And I was totally wrong. You can pop a couple of those like a Claritin and it completely worked in an hour. Like, I was blown away. So that's an herbal supplement too. So it'd probably be very similar to this aller-free tincture.
Another tip that is helpful to overall health, but also especially allergy and cold and flu seasons, is stay hydrated. Drink lots and lots and lots of water. If you can keep the mucus flowing, nice and thin style.
That's better.
Way better.
Better.
So the average kind of rule of thumb for staying hydrated is half your body weight in ounces per day. I would say that's a good rule of thumb in the winter time.
Or like normal.
But when it's hot, when it's hot outside, you need more than that.
Or when your body's fighting something or having allergies.
Or if you exercise regularly, you need more than that. So I weigh like 130-ish, and I try to shoot for...
You're drinking like 100 ounces a day.
I try. 96.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I do 2 of my water bottles a day.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I try. You have to make an effort. But you also have to make sure you're getting a little bit of sugar and a little bit of salt, or the water just goes straight through you and you're actually not retaining any. You actually don't want your pee to be clear.
I know, I just learned this.
Yeah.
It has to be light
yellow.
Yellow. But you don't, if it's clear, your water's just going straight through
and you're actually dehydrated. That does not mean you're hydrated and all that water is extra. That means you are dehydrated.
You want your kidneys to be filtering, so something should be coming out with your pee, not just plain water.
And we're not talking about like, the coloring from excess vitamins that you pee out. We're
Not
talking,
regular.
We're talking about like the pee that has nothing to do with vitamins needs to still be yellow.
Yeah.
Just light yellow. Like lemonade. Lighter than lemonade. Diluted lemonade.
There you go.
The lemonade that had the ice melt in it on the counter. That one. So, salt with your water, please, friends.
Stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Another thing you could try is acupuncture, or all sorts of natural health practitioners will have other treatments and things too.
Well, and if you're not into needles like myself, acupressure.
Who is into needles?
Well, it's a lot of people.
What?
Look at the tattoos and the acupuncture clinics.
That's true. I did acupuncture a couple times, and I am willing to do it, but it's not like I was into it.
So I did acupuncture one time and experienced needle shock, which we talked about in a previous episode, and that is actual clinical shock.
Not ever do acupuncture again.
I will never. You could never make me. There's no way. I thought I was going to die. And instead I went into labor. But another story.
Hey, it happens.
Also reduce the indoor pollution that is inside of your home. And this doesn't just, I'm not talking about houseplants. I'm talking about the cleaners that you use. You should not be using Tide and Mr. Clean
and strongly smelling cleaners.
Any of that crap. Yeah. And actually none of them are necessary. If you go to our website, actually, I'll give you a little tip here, naturalmothernetwork.com. A pop-up window will come up and you can sign up for our newsletter. And when you do that,
you get a download.
Yes, of homemade cleaners.
Natural cleaners with natural ingredients.
And there's only like 5 or 6 ingredients that you mix and match in different ways to make different cleaners for different things in your home. There's a toilet cleaner, there's wood polish, there's floor cleaner, all of the things. And they're made with things like rubbing alcohol, vinegar, lemon juice, essential oils if you're an essential oil person.
Yeah.
Things like that. And they're non-toxic and they aren't going to exacerbate your allergies, nor are they going to be endocrine disruptors.
Yeah.
There's traditional cleaners are terrible.
Yeah.
Get rid of them now and go get our little printout.
If someone in the family has allergies or like asthma or any kind of inflammation /
you should be doing this anyway.
Yeah. So just reducing the burden. So something I read yesterday was a good description was there's 2 ways to think about treating and preventing allergies. And one is to reduce the exposure to the pollen. So that would be
a direct
a direct, like reducing, so they were talking about a bathtub, filling the bathtub up with less water, reducing the burden, like reduce the amount of all the things. So use the natural cleaners, keep your HEPA filters clean and all that stuff, reduce the exposure, and then increase your body's ability to handle the exposure is to get a bigger bathtub, was the description. So reduce the amount of water in your bathtub, and then get a bigger bathtub. So increasing the body's ability to handle this stuff is like the homeopathics, the raw honey, taking care of your diet and just making sure your body's clean and as healthy as it can be. All those things are just increasing the body's ability to handle it.
Well, and we talked about making sure that you use your clothes dryer to dry your clothes. Technically, you could hang your clothes to dry inside your home.
Yeah.
Would still be an acceptable way to reduce pollen exposure if you're an avid line dryer.
Avid line
but
dryer.
Don't be tempted to use traditional dryer sheets in your dryer.
Yeah, we can't do that at our house.
It's the amount of VOCs that those things release and cancer-causing chemicals, and
just
they
everything.
contribute to climate change. I'm not joking. They're horribly toxic. So
you don't
use
have to
dryer
use those.
balls.
Use the wool dryer balls. Everybody
Or there's
loves
also these,
those.
you can find them on Amazon or, any green living website, but there's these terry cloth reusable dryer sheets that are just like loops. They're kind of like a neck gaiter. And I had some back in the day, and they're kind of like a little bit silky terry cloth, and they're white and purple striped, and you use them forever. And every now and again, you'll have to wash them, like every 3 months or something.
But it seemed to work.
They totally work. They were fantastic. I actually maybe like them a little more than I like dryer balls.
Yeah.
So I need to track those down again. So just ditch that kind of stuff, you guys. Ditch the fabric softeners and the sheets and the fabric softening sheets.
Just reduce your overall burden to your respiratory system. Like anything that could irritate, you reduce that. That will help.
So also bromelain is a supplement you can take. It's an enzyme. You can buy it by itself in health food stores, but it's also found in excess in papayas and pineapples. A little heads up here, though, that papayas are very, 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 very often genetically modified. So if you do,
and they're just not that great if you live in the Midwest.
No.
If you are in Hawaii or Puerto Rico, or
we're calling out Rachel
grows.
and Amber here. Rachel and Amber, you guys eat the papayas that are growing in the forest, would you?
Those
please?
are great, and by the way, squirt lime juice all over them, so it makes it so much
good.
better.
So
but
good.
A papaya from the grocery store somewhere far away from a tropical location, I wouldn't
GMO.
even eat it anyway.
Well, but it's a GMO.
Yeah, they're
it's
terrible.
so weird that they would choose papaya to be one of like the
GMO.
top 10 GMO crops. You have like cotton, soy, corn, papaya.
I know, right?
Who made that decision?
And how is papaya a big enough industry that people have to invest
we have
money
a papaya,
in GMOing papayas?
Yeah. There's a papaya shortage. We have got to figure out how to make more papayas.
Okay. So just eat papayas and pineapples, because that's where you get this bromelain enzyme that's helpful to reduce swelling and improve breathing. So that's what you want.
It's another anti-inflammatory, I'd say.
Yeah.
Safely.
And then also omega-3 fatty acids reduce inflammation. So that can also be helpful. So for supplements for your family, if you've got a kid with seasonal allergies, we just listed a whole bunch of things.
Omega-3s and 6s, you should be doing anyway.
Yeah.
Actually. So
there you go.
Just double make sure that
Just
you're not
double
running
check.
out. And there are, my kids take Smarty Pants. And the Smarty Pants brand vitamins have vitamin D. They have omega-3s. They have a lot of these supplements all in one multivitamin that my kids take.
Yeah,
we buy the teen formula because my kids are preteen and they take a half dose.
Yeah.
So 2 instead of 4.
But they're a decent
gummies.
vitamin. They do have sugar. They're very sweet, but they're
affordable. They're easy to find,
and they do have really good supplements. So a lot of the ones that we talked about in episode 22 are in Smarty Pants as well. So they're actually a pretty good research-based multivitamin.
They're decent. It's not going to break the bank.
It does not break
And
the bank.
again,
They're okay.
Like we buy the teen ones and my kids take half a dose because they're 11 and 12. They're not technically teens. And we eat a really good, well-rounded diet. We eat fish and veggies and fruits like they're going out of style. So
there you go.
half doses. Make it stretch it out a little bit.
So one more thing. Yeah. One more thing on our list is homeopathic. So instead of giving you, we do have a list of the individual remedies that are just one ingredient. We will link to the article for that in the show notes. You can totally find at your health food stores or even online, if you Google homeopathic seasonal allergy remedies, you will find more than one brand of like a combo remedy that has a bunch of the remedies in it. And that would probably be your best bet unless you know specifically for sure
is
which
that
remedy
what,
to use.
These are really fun to try to pronounce, but
that's what that
is histaminum hydrochloricum?
That is one remedy. So that is an antihistamine remedy.
Is that that has multi?
No, that one is only one. That's the ingredient, the name that you just said.
And that
would probably also be in those combo remedies.
That was recommended in our forum also by 2 or 3 people. So and that one must work pretty good.
Before too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can get a combo remedy or individual remedies. And as with any homeopathic, it'll say, if you feel nervous or you feel better breathing cold air, then it's this remedy or whatever. So you want to look specifically at those descriptions and find the closest one to you. The cool thing about homeopathics is if you get the wrong one, it just won't help you, but it also won't hurt you. It just won't really work as well. So you want to get the right remedy or try those combo remedies so that you're more likely to hit it.
There's something about when you're taking homeopathic remedies that you don't want to eat or drink within
like 15 minutes on either side of them.
Yeah. So if you're going to take a homeopathic remedy, one of the little pellets you put under your tongue, it's important not to drink for about 15 minutes or eat before you take it and after you take it. And then also you want to stay on the dosaging and timing pretty religiously. So if it says 3 or 4 pellets every 5 hours, make sure you're doing that.
Yeah.
And they're safe for kids too. So nothing to worry about.
And they don't interact with medications or anything else either. So you could use them safely if you're also doing something else. It's not going to cause a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you name these off?
No, because I said we'll link to the article in the show notes. And
I think it's really fun.
Remedy.
I think that we should make Candy pronounce these. So okay, here
we
go.
You so much.
We can trade off.
Okay. Okay. Good luck.
Allium cepa.
Oh, come on, that was easy. Arsenicum album.
Euphrasia officinalis.
Hey, that was pretty good.
I know.
Natrum muriaticum.
And sabadia.
And Wyethia.
It could be sabadilla if
and
it's not.
And histaminum hydrochloricum.
Yeah.
And there's others as well. So
there's a ton. If you have a health food store or like a Trader Joe's or a Whole Foods, something like that near you, you can just go in and talk to the person working in the supplement part, and they will know a lot about what could help you, and they'll have lots of tinctures and lots of pills and lots of And that's where I would start. Of course, if you are just dying, go grab an over-the-counter medicine or talk to your doctor.
We're not opposed to it. If you try all of these natural things, you try taking some nettles and you do all these things and you're still suffering, that's kind of my line where I'm like, okay, we're going to take a Claritin or whatever. My daughter's allergies are so severe and so fast. They come on so fast and get so severe so fast. That's what we do every time. We do over the counter if the washing hands and washing eyes doesn't work.
Right.
But, so you got to make the decision that's best for you. But these are some of the natural supportive things that you can try. And of course, if this works for you, you're all set. And if it doesn't, maybe try something over the counter or see a doctor.
And if you have questions about any of this, our Facebook forum is incredible for getting support and answers from a variety of women in all parts of the country and world. So that is Natural Mother Network Forum on Facebook. It's a private group, so you can just search it up, find it, request to join, answer the couple of questions that we ask you to get in, and then you're in and ask your question. It is a super great place to find support for all kinds of motherhood and health topics. We have a whole bunch of links that we're going to put in the show notes, where to check your pollen count, all the homeopathic remedies that we just talked about. We have an article on our website that Dr. Jolene Brighton wrote for us years ago called Say Goodbye to Seasonal Allergies. We will link that also. It has a lot of the things that we talked about already. And I guess here's to hoping that your allergy season is not as severe as you're used to. I don't know. Terrible.
Yeah.
It's awful. Stock up on all the good stuff.
Do what you got to do to breathe easy this spring.
This spring. It means stay inside.
But,
And stay clean.
stay inside, stay clean, and support your body all around. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everything else.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening today, you guys. And I hope you found something helpful in this episode. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a minute to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and tell a friend. Visit naturalmothernetwork.com to learn more or get in touch with us. Thanks for listening and have a great week.